Welcome to Ink and Magic, a podcast where we read and discuss the writing craft, world building, and romance of paranormal and fantasy novels.
If you love books with bite, set in worlds of magic and mayhem, then you're in the right place. My name's Nikisha Shanae. I go by Ines.
And I'm Leslye. I write as Elle Penelope. And welcome to the show.
Hey, Leslye!
Hey, Ines. How are you? It has been a minute for the listeners. I see you every day, but
I know. You do. We see each other. We either see, talk, or text each other every single day.
But I know that you out there in podcast land might have missed our voices. I don't know. I'm assuming. I'm going to go ahead and think you might have missed us.
We hope you missed our voices. We miss talk. We miss being in this Ink and Magic world and talking about these books. But life has been lifing.
Life tends to do that. Yeah. What are your updates? I mean, Miss been around the world. Aye.
Yeah. So when we originally decided to take a summer break, we both had books due that we just had to hammer down on. We actually were in the same shared world, and those books launched and they're doing very well.
Yay.
And then there was just going to be a lot of travel for me. I went on a cruise with my son, and then I got back, and then I ran a 10K. I'm so very proud of that 10K that I ran and didn't walk the whole way because I made two runner friends and they made sure that I ran.
Okay.
So I did that. I have not put my sneakers back on.
You did it. Why put them on again? They're probably worn out.
I do want to do a half marathon, but it's too hot. So I'm going to look at a fall one. But then after I did the marathon and did the cruise, I went on a 3-week European vacation. It was billed as a working vacation, but here was my schedule. I flew into London. I did the self-publishing live show for 2 days where I spoke and I interacted with the workshops. Left, went to Edinburgh in Scotland, had a magical time in Edinburgh, then hopped on a little tour bus that seated like 12 people and toured the Highlands. It was amazing. You can check my Instagram and see some of those pictures, or check my Facebook and see some of those pictures. And then after that, I went back to London for Rare London, which is a book signing, and I did that for 1 day. So those are my 3 days of working out of these 18 days. And after I finished Rare, I went to the south of France with some writer friends, and we were like in the middle of a vineyard. Like seriously, go look at the pictures. We were in the middle of a vineyard, and I hadn't written for 2 weeks. And Leslye knows how that's just not how I roll.
It's amazing.
I write all the time, cannot stop. But I'm also a number one discipline person. So I need my schedule to be the same. I need to sit in that. And everything was different every single day. And I was not in charge of my schedule until we got to France. And when we got to France, my muse just exploded, and I wrote a crazy amount of words and finished a really special project that I can't wait to come out.
Yay.
That was the end of my sabbatical. What about you?
Well, I did not go anywhere. I think I might have gone somewhere, but I can't remember where it was.
Some trips.
Oh yeah, I went to Atlanta for the Black Romance Book Festival, the premier first year of this amazing event that had like 1,200 people, and it was really good energy, really good vibes. Amazing. If it's at all possible for you to attend that next year or in the years to come, I would highly recommend it. It was one of the best organized events. You know, that and Imaginarium Book Festival, both events created by Black women, are the best, most well-organized events I've ever been to. And I do a lot of events. So props to both of them. I have been on deadline as we record this. I have a book due in a week, a little less than a week.
But she's doing great.
I'm doing great. I'm on track. I'm doing my read through. I still need to write the last few chapters or rewrite them, revise them. They have been written once and they need heavy revisions, but I'm feeling really great about this book. I was so excited. In my read through, I had to stop for a meeting before this, and I was just like, oh, I really want to keep reading this book. This is my Y2K 1999 contemporary-ish fantasy book that is currently being called December 32nd, 1999. We'll see what the final title ends up being. Orbit, my publisher, decides on, but that's going really well. So that's basically my personal update. I'll be moving in the next month. Local move, still in Maryland, but that is always, everyone knows how terrible that is. So gearing up for a renovation and a move. But luckily that's happening after my deadline. So only so much stress my poor mind can take.
Yes, you're making all the decisions for the books.
Yes.
And then you go and you will make decisions for where
The
everything's gonna
renovation.
go in the new
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, I decided today that everything's gonna be the same paint color. There's one paint color that I love. This whole different rooms, different colors. My brain doesn't have time for that. I pick one color and everything's gonna be the same color.
I don't blame
And I'm
you.
happy with that.
I do not blame you.
But yeah, we're coming to you because we have a brand new Nalini Singh book to talk about today
We do.
that I've been looking forward to. We're finally in real time with the releases, so we have to wait a year or more like
Oh my
everyone
God.
else.
It's not okay.
It's tough. It's tough. We live tough lives. But Atonement Sky is here. I was so excited that I ordered a hardcover
Did?
East City Bookshop. It has a signed book plate from Nalini Singh, which is why I was like, we just spent however much time. It's been a year or two doing all these books. I had the first couple in paperback, but mass market paperback, and I don't generally buy hardcovers. I can't read them anymore because of my wrists. I can't like hold a book and read it, which sounds insane, but like I had surgery, which I think we've talked about, and I just bending my arm to hold a book is not a thing. So hardcovers, and you can prop up books, you can buy equipment, but it's just easier to do that with a Kindle. So I rarely buy physical books anymore. But I bought this, and then I got the audiobook, and then I got the ebook because I was like reading in different places. So Nalini has gotten my money. But it's delightful just to have at least this one in a beautiful hardcover. So
I went to Rare London and I'm going to Rare Melbourne, and I was looking at the attending authors, and guess who's on there?
yay!
I'm
So
probably
I
gonna
know some
myself.
of our listeners have been after us to actually invite Nalini Singh onto this podcast. Something
Yeah,
that
I'm
has
not afraid.
terrified, yeah, both of us. But you are going to meet her, and
Maybe we'll
in
be
person,
in the same continent, in the same room.
you're going to be in the same room. You have to go and meet her.
I'm gonna
And
do my best.
if you would like to invite her, if you build up the girl balls to do such a thing.
See if I have the boobs to do it. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see. We'll see. I'm friends with some of her friends, so we'll see.
She's lovely. She commented on one of my Instagram posts about baking bread, and she's a baker, so you can commiserate on gluten-free baking on my behalf.
Yes, she does seem like a lovely person. Every time I have heard her in an interview or hear someone talk about her, always
Mhm.
absolutely wonderful, lovely things. And
She's not scary. It's just the idea of talking
yeah,
to her on a podcast is scary.
right, right. But in her book, she did write some lovely characters in Atonement Sky. We thought we talked about this in the last podcast too. We thought we were going to be getting some fan favorites. Instead, we get pretty much brand new people. We've met
Brand.
Adam before, Adam the Falcon Shifter. We've
Yes.
met him before,
Briefly, yeah.
very briefly, but we're going deep into his, for lack of a better word, pack. What are the Eagles called? Clan?
A wing? A clan?
They're
I've just read
wing.
this book. I've already forgotten. Well, he's the wing leader, right? He's
He's the
not the
wing
alpha.
leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then we also meet Larry, who is a Justice Psy. And I was really trying to figure out, like, why is she bringing us to this new place, this
Mm-hmm.
new territory? And as I'm reading this book, here's what I realize why I personally keep coming back to this Psy-Changeling world. In the very first book with Sasha Duncan, one of the very first things that Nalini Singh introduces us to is this idea of silence and how it is not working.
Mm-hmm.
And as I look back over the series, she keeps trying to present and trying to solve the problem of silence, trying to present new ways to fix this problem that she first introduced us to. Because it's a
Mm-hmm.
multifaceted problem.
Right. And it came about for a reason because there were mental instability among the Psy. And so this drastic step they took as a way to save themselves. And then it all crumbled and fell apart, and silence has fallen now. And there are still lots of people suffering, like the J Psy,
Yes.
not just from silence, but also from what they have been basically forced to do.
Yeah.
Their particular skill being able to pull memories, project memories, in some case, manipulate memories
Mhm.
is useful for this. But so that's, parallel to the problem of silence is the problem of having these poor people, read the minds of the worst criminals of society, like the worst, most evil people, and have to hold that and never be able to forget it.
So with J-Side, we met Sophia. Sophia?
Yeah,
When he
Sophia,
was
but they call
trying
her Sophie.
right. And and we saw like she was one that wore gloves. She and one of the ones we read last, the psychometric person, she also had to wear gloves because touch, she would remember
Mhm.
things. But J-Side remember people's memory, and the other person could remember even just from objects and things. So we knew how thin. So one of the things we learned too, again with Sasha, was that Sasha was amazing at building shields. You couldn't
Mhm.
build a shield better than Sasha.
Right.
But this is something that starts to fail pretty quickly, it seems, in the J-Side. And so they one of the threats against against Psy was that you will be rehabilitated. But the J's, that's like a part of the job training. You get reconditioned.
Recondition, which is less than rehabilitation, but still very bad because it causes death pretty early, even after a few, rehabilitations.
Yeah, they were saying like it chisels away some of their personality and just chips and chips and chips away. So we meet Alari. She's a J-Psi and her shields are crumbling fast. She's like 29 or something like that. And
27, yeah.
that's like when they're about to die. She's basically on a farewell tour, if you will.
Yeah. 'Cause she knows that there are these stages of, disintegration, and the shields go, and it's sensitivity, and then there's another word that begins with an E that I can't remember. But, like, yeah, they're going downhill. So she's like, "Well, my last few days, I'm gonna just solve as many crimes as I can, catch as many criminals as I can, and do some good before
And make
I leave."
amends.
Make
Because
amends,
there was
right.
one really big, her first case that she feels so very responsible for. And it's when she meets this young wing leader to be, Adam, at the trial of the murder of his parents, who were shifters, the murder of his shifter parents by a Psy who said it
Mhm.
was accidental. He shot them out of the air, and he said it was an accident. But Alari is with her mentor. She trusts unequivocally,
Mhm.
and they are going over this case. And while they're going over this case and she is helping him, she runs into Adam, and they have an instant connection.
Yeah, and it's, mating at first sight, which at one point they say it's also only in the fairy tales and the soap operas or something like that. But they both know, like, not only does Adam realize, and I think they're 18, 17 or 18 at the time, Larry realizes, like, oh, wait, something's happening here. And Jays were never silent. Silence never stuck with them because of their ability, but they're still they're still like muted. But they feel it. And so there's this instant connection. They only share a few words with each other. That's that one time that they see each other, and then they go into the courtroom for the trial, basically, yeah, of Adam's parents' murderer.
And it's Larry's first trial, but she's been training, and so she knows what she can do. She knows what her mentor can do, and she watches as something goes wrong, something that she's been taught that J-Psi cannot do. She knows that a memory has been altered, and that's not supposed to happen. And her mentor did it. And she gets a look on, she's a Psy, an unsilent Psy, and she gets a look on her face when this memory gets revealed, and Adam sees it. He knows
I think
something is wrong.
it's not just that, it's like he knew that his parents were murdered and it wasn't an accident, like, somehow. Oh, because of the situation around the death, like, this guy had been trying to get this land, we find out later, the
Mhm.
Psy, and so everybody knows the guy did it, and it was absolutely not an accident, but I'm not sure if he knew. I mean, he knew that Larry knew, probably. I mean, it was just blatantly obvious, but I'm not sure if everyone else believed that or knew that Jay could manipulate memories, like, they
No,
didn't know that.
no, no.
Yeah,
Larry didn't even know that it was possible, and not
right.
everybody could do it. And the only reason that she knew, we later find out, because she has the ability herself. So her mentor had the ability, which nobody is supposed to have, and he realized that when she realized that he had manipulated the memory of the Psy, the murderer's Psy, that
Mhm.
she had the ability, and he's like, shut it right now or you might die.
Right. So she stays silent. She does not cause a fuss. And that's the choice that she ends up regretting because Adam is like, you didn't say anything. He blames her, thinking that we had this connection. I know you're my mate. You should have said something. And you stayed silent. And that was a betrayal. And for the next 10 years, he holds this resentment towards her because she could have cleared it up in his mind. He believes she could have cleared it up so easily, and she didn't. And she betrayed him. And she's one person who never should have betrayed him.
This is late. We're summing this up in like 5 minutes. But this Nalini Singh, she's really good at basically asking these questions and not giving you the full answers. It takes almost the whole book to figure out exactly what happened, because
Mhm.
we meet these two people in present day when they're close to 30, and we're getting the flashbacks of what happened when they were children. So it's a whole journey of the two of them coming together. I won't say it's the whole book. That's not true. Probably about half the book. Like by half the book, we have the whole backstory of what happened to them, because by the time we get to the half point, they have reconciled.
Yeah, but from the beginning, we know that Larry is going to this town. She's searching for a serial killer that she believes is based there. And she knows she'll probably run into Adam. This is where he's from. This is where they met. And there's this tension. So the tension is very much on the page. He'll never forgive me. And then when Adam sees her, how dare she be here? Why is she here? But he's also drawn to her. You can't like not be around her. And so it's a really good, romantic tension between the two of them, even as it's slowly revealed what the actual incident was and what the issue is between them.
Yes. So that's happening. And then yeah, there is I don't really like the serial killer, the thriller, the suspense aspect of these books. I just want a love story.
Uh, this wasn't too bad because it was very much implied, but you never saw any details. There's no gore. There's not a lot of
Yeah,
about what
there's
the
some more.
serial killer was doing. It was terrible. We know it was awful.
Mhm.
He's murdering these young women. But we didn't have to sit in it and it wasn't at top of mind. It was just okay, bad guy, we're gonna catch him.
Yeah. And so the bad guy has fixated on a Larry, has
Hmm.
been writing a Larry love notes about his um goings on, has been taunting her, thinks they're in a relationship basically, and he's showing off. He's like showing his peacock feathers with these murders for her. And she is so smart. She has pinpointed him to this area, which also happens to be where Adam is. So she comes, she lets the local law enforcement know, she lets Adam know, and then the bad stuff starts to happen as they start to find this guy. The first tragedy, because the guy doesn't hunt or so it seems, he doesn't hunt where he sleeps, but Adam's second, see, we're in his point of view, and Adam's second wing,
Jacques, yeah.
Jacques, sees something suspicious, goes in, and the perpetrator shoots him out of the sky.
Right, because Adam, he's talked to Larry. He knows that she's here for a serial killer. He warns his second, Jacques, who and then tells him to be on alert. And so Jacques was like, "Oh, that reminds me, I saw something weird that I didn't pay attention to." So he goes back to pay attention to it, and that's when he shot out the sky. And he is shot mid-shift, so
Yeah.
he's caught like half falcon, half
Ooh,
man. There's
that oof,
limbs amputated. It's a horror show. It's like body
that was
horror.
horrible. Yeah.
And they're just not sure that he's going to make it. Adam is able with his alpha slash wing leader power, blood bond power to keep him
To pull,
alive,
yeah.
but he's like they don't know if he's going to make it, and this is his best friend.
And so that was the first, and there's more, but I want to stick with Jacques for just a second, because she when I really sit down and I think about it, because I take notes when I'm reading, and I didn't take a lot of notes because I'm usually taking notes, yes, on the plot, but also on like my feelings.
Hmm.
But when I look at my notes, there was not a lot of lines, a lot of plot lines to this. So there was the main plot, there was the romance, there was the serial killer plot, there was the romance plot, there was the Jacques plot, and then there was a secondary romance. So there was a lot of,
Hmm.
and they were very simple plots,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This wasn't a short book.
Mm-mm.
And I just marvel at Nalini Singh's ability to take these stories and stretch them. And when another person might have stretched this, it might have been boring. Like, I read this in 2 settings. Sat down, read first half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Then was like, go to
I
sleep.
got through it pretty quickly too.
Sat down and read the second half, pretty much like midpoint, right? My point though is that what she does, she's doing this with the subplots. She's doing this with the love story. She's doing this with the serial killer plot. Well, I didn't really care about, but with the Jacques plot, like there's unrequited love that's happening there. There is
maybe not unrequited, but like unfinished. Jacques and this other pack member, kind of kept missing each other, I guess.
Yes. So she draws that out, and then she turns your attention to, okay, well, does Adam have enough alpha wing power to hold him? No. Okay. Well, can we use technology to hold him? No. Okay. Well, can we use a Larry to go in there? No, excuse me. Can we bring in some empaths?
Right.
To hold him? And at first we get Sasha comes, and Sasha's like, this is not my area of expertise. And so she brings someone else in from him, and he's good. He's like the second best. She makes a point to tell you he's the second best at this. He goes in and tries, and he can't do it. And then he goes back and does it again, still can't do it. And then the number one person who we met before. Thank you.
Joshua or something with
Jaya.
Jaya. Yeah.
Jaya comes. She can't do it. So she's like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Nope. And then a Larry comes in, and a Larry is able to move it even further. So Jacques, it snaps into place.
Mm-hmm.
They hold him. He's slowly coming back. And she made this last and made your heart pound with each and every attempt.
I wouldn't call it stretching though, because stretching makes it sound like it's not enough content. Yeah. But it's try-fail cycles. That's all it is, which you love, are try-fail cycles. Yeah. And she does this 2 times in this book with different situations. Many, just to the point where it's building suspense. I think her career as a thriller writer, as like a contemporary thriller writer, is really coming out, because it's like, you're try again, no fail, try. There's trying and the failing. And I was never bored or annoyed. It never felt like, it didn't feel stretched out, because that feels a little bit pejorative.
I retract the word stretched.
Okay. But it was a lot of try-fail cycles, and we didn't know, how this was going to end. It was very much a lot of tension and suspense.
So I think that was it. I don't think about tri-fail cycles where you do it just on that. You stay right there, laser focused on that one event. Like, that's not what I'm used to.
Okay.
And I think that's what just kind of tripped up my brain. Like, wait, what? Huh? Wait, what are you doing? Not in a bad way. Like, what? Literally, what are you doing? How are you doing this? Why? Why shouldn't I be upset? Shouldn't I be like, didn't you already try this? Shouldn't he die or something?
Why is it working? Like, as the person who likes to take things apart, like, why did this work? Why were we like turning pages, reading it in a couple of sittings, or like, I moved through this book really quickly, and I wanted to get back to it when I wasn't reading it.
Yeah. That was good. That's not how I think about tri-fail cycles, but you're absolutely right. That was like 6 tri-fail cycles or more, all along the exact same subplot.
Yeah. And I think it kept us away from having to deal with too much serial killer. We had these other plots that we were able to really, in characters, like, we met Jacques one time before he gets shot. We don't even know him. We care about him because everybody else cares about him so much.
Good job, dang.
Right,
because everybody else cared about him, because everybody was trying so hard, because found family who we've met before kept coming in trying to save this person, and we were invested, because it was like almost like a football game, like a sports ball, where you another 1 yard to the touchdown, and then yet another 1 yard to the touchdown.
Yeah. And trying to bring him up out of his consciousness, like he was locked in, so that he could shift one way or the other and then heal, which is what they were trying to do. So it was interesting, and it did last, quite a while through the first half of the book, or longer maybe.
It lasted a while, because he didn't come to until late in the book, even though he was healed.
And also, like, so this is where I got really emotional. I wrote in my notes, like, I was crying when Larry goes in, because she basically hurts herself to save Jacques.
Yeah.
She, because she's a J, And because she doesn't have the same kind of, her shields are dead,
Yeah.
there's something on an instinctual level, she's able to reach him like way deeper. Cause Sasha's like, whoa, we're not supposed to go that deep. Like she's bleeding from her eyes and her ears, and she refuses to allow them to stop her until she has brought Jacques back. And, it's just like she feels this debt that she owes Adam, but also maybe she just wants to do good. Like she realizes how important Jacques is to Adam, and she's acknowledged that they are not going to have a future together, but
Yeah.
she owes him something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just really like her persistence, and then Adam, it was moving to me. So I was tearing up.
So that's one subplot. That's one person that gets taken. And before the saving of Jacques happens, the town police chief, he gets suspiciously has a heart attack when he's been doing. He's very hearty in Hale. We don't know these people, but the found family was instant. Like we recognize that even though we don't know these people, this town of humans, Psy, and shifters is pretty idyllic. It's pretty idyllic. They all work together and they all have each other's back, and it's a shock to them that the serial killer is one of them.
Right. And that becomes really clear as it progresses that it really is one of them. It's somebody that everybody knows and trusts. Yeah. And it comes out that there's been a string of break-ins, but not really stealing anything, like breaking in and eating some cookies, and like minute stuff. And they think it's just kids. At one point, there's suspicion thrown on the innkeeper's son, who is acting a little strange.
I at least knew that wasn't going to be he wasn't going to be it.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty clear, but you're also like, well, maybe he's a accomplice. Like, what's going on there? There were some little things thrown in. And then Larry is working with the local police. There's only 3 of them in the police department, plus the chief, when then he's out for the count. So there's we get some mystery of these little things happening. Is this related? Are these just red herrings? We're not sure.
So the last person that gets taken is Adam's niece. And again, there's no struggle. This girl, she's a teen. She knows better than to go off and not say something. So they're now 1,000,000%. Like, this is one of us. This is someone who we know, who she would have trusted, who she would not have questioned, who the friends around her would not have questioned, even though they didn't see anything. And it narrows it down.
Well, we skipped over like the love story part, because the kidnapping doesn't really happen until after Adam and Larry, they start out antagonistic. Through the Jacques thing, they get closer. He's drawn to her. They keep getting closer. And then after she passes out for like a day after she saves Jacques. And so when she wakes up, she's like, my shields are gone. My power is gone. I'm totally burnt out. I'm really close to death. Can I just have one day with you, Adam? And so he takes her around the cavern where they live, where the birds live, and she meets like shifters, and he takes her to these other caverns with the bats, and I think they have sex there, right? Even though she's completely has no emotions, she can't really feel things.
Well, she gets in there, and the first thing that she notices, it's so quiet here.
Right. Yeah. And we don't know what that means, how important that is until later. But they have this whole like lovely day, and he finally accepts, like he forgives her. He realizes that if she had spoken up 10 years ago, she would have died. Like she would have been killed. And then becomes the self-recrimination. Like, how could I have abandoned my mate for 10 years? She was reconditioned like 7 times after that. And now that's why she's in this, she's near death now. Like, I failed her. He has all of these issues. He tries to do the mating bond, but she's too damaged to accept it. Like, all of the emotional relationship stuff happens. And they get together, and she's like, I wish I could, but I'm going to die soon, and probably like tomorrow. Like, she's basically planning to kill herself the next day before she goes crazy. And it's better for the Jays to end their own lives and not allow the.
So she has a kill switch inside of her brain.
Right. Yeah. And so just as she's about to, she writes him a note. She like does a cron job or whatever to like schedule the email to send to him in a couple hours. She's about to go off into the desert and do it. And then Malia, his niece, gets kidnapped, and everybody gets called in to investigate. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna put it off. I'm gonna try to find her and help this girl that she met. And then,
Then everyone starts to. So we know that Jacques, who is out of it, knows who the killer is, and then Larry figures it out who the killer is, and she writes it in
Well,
blood.
okay, you keep, like, skipping things. So
It's
Malia
skipping.
Malia gets kidnapped, that's
Mhm.
the niece.
Yeah.
Larry, is at the police station looking at footage, trying to figure out, who it is, and then the killer, I think, calls her on the phone. So Malia calls it, proof of life, and then Malia, like, is knocked out, and the killer's like, "You have to do this yourself, like, don't call anybody else or I'll kill the girl. You have to come to this place, like, or drink this drink that I left in the police station. I can see you I've hacked the police station camera so I can see you,
Mhm.
and I'll know if something's happening." So at that point, Larry still doesn't know who the
I
killer
thought
is.
she did.
Not that point. She was like running through her mind. And she drinks the drink, and then she like thinks about it, like, oh, that's him. But then she's knocked out, so she passes out with the knowledge, but she can't tell anybody.
Why do I think she wrote
She,
something?
later in her blood, this is after they rescue Malia, she writes in blood the first few letters of the killer's name. So she gets kidnapped by the killer. She's taken to where Malia is. Psy don't do well with narcotics or drugs. So she, on top of all the other things wrong with her, this drug that he gave her really messed her up. Malia is there. It's like, wake up. He's coming back. He's coming back. And so Larry basically kicks him. She can't use her psychic power. She fights him physically with whatever little bit of strength she has left, allowing Malia to escape. And he injects her again with more drugs. And then, as she's like passing out, she writes the first few letters of his name. Um, she incapacitates him in some way, and then Malia is able to go, and everyone finds her, and she leads them back to where Larry is, and she's knocked out the killer in some way.
Okay, maybe I'm having a different memory of a different story, but I thought she figured out who it was in the police precinct, writes it down, but they just can't find him. They don't know where he is.
No, they don't know the identity.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure, like,
I could
and
be
it,
misremembering. Now we're both pausing, and we read this story both probably just like a couple of
like
days.
2 days ago.
Doesn't matter. Totally doesn't matter. But when does he blood bond her? My
So,
notes
okay,
are
after
kind of out
she's
of order.
hmm?
I think my notes are out of order.
After they save her, I think they have to take her directly to the hospital because she is so messed up, Larry, like, after this
Right.
experience. And so that's when we get the hospital scene. She's out of it. Um, yes, because she's got these cuts because she cut herself to leave a blood trail when she was getting
Mhm.
kidnapped. So at some point, either in the helicopter or like he presses his blood to her, because she's basically dead. She's dead for a few seconds. He does CPR on her to bring her back to life and blood bonds her then, so he can use his wing leader alpha power to just keep her alive at the basic level.
And but there's layers there, because one of the things that, because she has not accepted the mating bond, she can't. She
Right.
wanted to, but she can't. So the blood bonding is the next best thing that he can do. And we learned that he blood bonded in, because remember, this is a town of humans, Psy, and shifters. A lot of the Psy, well, some of the Psy there, they took into to this wing some of the Psy children that were going to be, when the net was shutting down and the Psy were begging to have their children saved. Adam took in some, and he blood bonded those children. He's like, now these are my children. These are our children. They're family now. And that
And they're part
becomes
of the
important.
network. They could be
They're
in the
part of
neural
the
network.
network.
Yeah.
And that becomes important because they've been operating on the police, the justice side. Everybody has been operating on the belief. We haven't even said the killer's name. Sandman is what his moniker is. Everybody said they profiled the Sandman as a Psy male.
Yes, because
And
he's
that's what they've
using
been looking for.
a telepathic attack to kill the victims. Right.
Yes. So we're not looking at humans, right?
Right.
And that, I thought that was really interesting, because when they finally said who the person was, and we learned that it was Deputy Hendricks,
Mm-hmm.
one of
Who's
the
human,
police officers, who
ostensibly.
we thought was human. So it's like, how could this be? He's human. He doesn't have telepathy. But we have seen, because we are very astute readers, we have seen that especially like with the Forgotten, that,
Mhm.
hey, these people used to intermix. This has only been going on for 100 years, that Psy have been kept keeping amongst themselves. But people used to intermix, and so Hendrix, we find out, has Psy in his lineage.
Yeah, he was adopted as a baby, so they have no idea what his lineage is, but he's like less than one on the gradient. So he couldn't have even joined the Psynet. He does not have enough telepathic power to join the Psynet, but he had enough to kill people. And he
Mhm.
kept it a secret, and he kind of honed these abilities. So he wasn't mentally ill. He was purposefully
Yeah.
working really hard to train his TP in order to harm people. And that's what they find out.
Which is awful, because just as we're solving some problems, because there's a lot of psychotic folk in the Psynet, we see and we know that they're crazy humans, and we see that they're that shifters can go rabid as well. Now we think that we have everybody categorized, but we're reminded that
Mhm.
there's going to be people out there who you don't know might have these quirks that could be deadly.
Right. Yeah. And so they put everyone on alert, the Human Alliance, Psy-Changelings, to start checking, specifically Psy, I think, but to start like checking people for minute amounts of psychic power that they could potentially use.
Mhm.
It could harm them as well as other people. You know, you
Yeah.
don't have to be a psychopath to have these powers, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was interesting. So I wonder if that's going to come up in the future with more characters who are apparently human but not.
That's why I feel like she asked this question in book one. And there are so many facets to this question, like
Mhm.
silence is falling. What are we going to do? Silence was supposed to be the answer. It is not. How do we solve this?
Mhm. Well, first, how do we save the side net? Because it's been held together with chewing gum and
Yeah.
spider webs, basically.
Literally, spider webs.
Yeah. I forgot the name of the guy. Ian or something? Yeah, he's holding it together with spider webs.
Yeah, pretty much. But they capture Hendrix. Um, and they deliver Shifter Justice in a brutal way.
Yeah, but not until Larry goes to the hospital,
Mhm.
and we think she's basically brain dead, kind of,
Mhm.
like,
Yep.
Adam wakes her up one time and she, like, kind of says goodbye, but then she says, "I don't wanna die," because he was like, well, if she wants similar to with Jacques, there's a lot of repetition in this. You know, Jacques had told Adam at one point that if something happens to me, don't keep me alive, like, basically DNR, do not resuscitate, don't put me on machines, and so he brought in all those E's to try to see, is he even in there? Like, if he's not in there, then I've gotta respect his wishes. Same thing happens with Alary. She's like, he knows that she was planning to kill herself. So it's like, he's like, if this is her wish, I have to let her go. I don't want to. So she has had this wonderful day, and she's like, I don't want to die. When that moment that she wakes up, but the doctors are all like, yeah, there's nothing we can do here. Um,
Because her shields are gone. So
her shields are
it's almost
completely.
like her body is protecting herself, holding her almost like it's in a coma.
Hmm.
And as soon as anytime she wakes up, all of the noise just
Right. The
crosses in
telepathy.
on her, and it's like it's torture.
Hmm.
So at one point, the second time that she wakes up, at some point in that she wakes up for a second, and she screams. He's like, "Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep."
Hmm.
So yeah, and he realizes I cannot let her go out like this.
And they push that, just like, it's, we don't know what's going to happen. How is he going to save her? There's nothing they can do. We haven't mentioned the cartel of four, the Quattro cartel, right?
Quattro Cartel, yeah.
Who is another found family. This is Alary's found family. These Psy,
Mhm.
she met them as children. They're all J Psy. They are family to each other. And Bram comes in. So Bram is like kind of like the big
We're
brother.
halfway through the book by now.
Oh, we're more than halfway.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So Bram has come to town to do some help with the serial killer stuff before, and he and Adam have a meeting, I believe, before this. But we know Bram, and he's, Psy, J Psy. Has a lot of issues, but he is very protective, and he's like, if Larry hasn't been calling anybody back, if something happened to her, I'm going to rip you up from limb to limb or something. He basically threatens Adam, and Adam's like, I like this guy. We can be friends. Like, we're on the same wavelength. And so he trusts him, and he knows this is Larry's family,
Mhm.
and her other siblings are like denigrating or
Yeah,
what's that?
they're all about the same age. They grew up together, so they're all deteriorating together.
Yes. deteriorating at the same rate. And so they're not, the younger two are not doing well, not being able to talk to Larry. Bram is like, I'm about to die. And so we have this nice little secondary love story with him and Dahlia, who's another one of Adam's seconds. Like basically Bram takes a look at Dahlia, is like, this is a goddess. I like her. I don't know what's happening. And then Dahlia picks up on it and is like, yeah, if you ever want to just have sex, we can do that. You know, she's very much, she has her own story.
Which we did learn early.
Right.
We learned that the person that she had chosen to marry, there was no mention of a bond. The person that she had chosen to marry, it's almost like Mercy again. He at the last minute, he was like, yeah, I can't do this. You're just too strong. I can't.
She was in her wedding dress. It was the wedding day, and she has to like leave. I guess he was human. Leave the wedding, rips up her wedding dress, and is like, don't talk to me for 2 days. And she's been a mess ever since.
A mess who has just been sleeping around with no commitment. And Adam's the same. Adam hasn't been celibate. He's been sleeping around, not full thrust of that statement, but he goes forth with no commitment. He like fulfills his manly needs, and then he's like, as long as you don't expect anything from me, cool.
I forgot about that part because he knew who his mate was. Yeah, that's a little odd. Yeah, that didn't stick in my head. But anyway, Bram and Dahlia hook up, and then he's disintegrating at 2, and they're, you know, so Larry's in the hospital, Bram's falling apart, the younger two, Yuze, and
I love this. It's I've never seen a secondary love story happen so late. True. And so at first he's like, yeah, nah, I can't. I don't think we should do this. But then they meet like on like a deserted road or something like that.
She's flying and she shifts and she's just naked.
He's like, okay then.
And so they have sex outside against a tree or something. It sounds uncomfortable to me, but you know.
Great. Because, you know, a Larry and Adam's love scene that we had in the middle of the book. It underwhelmed me, and I understood why it underwhelmed me, because she couldn't feel anything, and she was like, basically, harder, go more. She couldn't feel anything, and so it underwhelmed me, and I felt like I understood. I know obviously this is a love story. This woman's not going to die, and there's going to be redeemed sex. Cool, I'll wait. And then Bram and Dahlia in the woods, and I was just fanning myself. Oh my gosh.
It was a great scene.
Great scene. Like everything that you would want in a banging scene. Even though they just met. And it's instant. It's beautiful. It's explosive. And afterwards, he sinks to the ground like the scarecrow. He has no more feeling in his legs.
He's like, thank you for the sex. I'm going to die now. And she's like, oh no, you're not giving me that reputation. I'm not going to be the one who had sex and then man died. Like, no, you are staying alive, sir.
Oh my, this is one of the best things I've ever read in my life. And she was determined not to let this man die just so that she could not have this reputation. And I was there for it.
We like Dahlia. We like Bram. We like them together. So she props him up, drives him back, takes him to the infirmary. And so now we've got these parallel like people, Psy, who are dying, shields disintegrating. They're on death's door. Yeah. And they try everything they can think of. Sophia comes back.
They are Adam's sister, who is an engineer.
Right. Yeah. So first Sophia and Max come back. And Sophia, who is the head J, is like, you know, I'm their next of kin, and she's pregnant. She's heavily pregnant right now. So Max is like, don't stress her out. But they kind of come to say goodbye. And then, Adam's sister, Sarsha, who
Sorsha, that very weird Irish spelling, all the vowels.
All the vowels. She is an engineer, and he's like, she needs a shield. You build shields. She's like, I make shields for jet planes. Like, I make heat shields. I don't make psychic shields. And I was like, do it anyway. Like, no one's tried to do an external shield. Yeah. And she's like, okay.
That was really sweet, though, because you do see these two interact. These two who lost their parents, this brutal way, and she's the older sister, and I very clearly remember a flashback of him looking at his big sister like, will you build me a rocket? She's like, of course I will. And then it comes to this scene, will you build a shield for my mate? okay, give it the best try.
It was Sarsha's daughter, Malia, who's the one who was kidnapped, and the
Yeah.
Larry like sacrificed herself to save her daughter. So not
Mhm.
only is this her brother's mate, this woman
Yeah.
saved her daughter. So she's like, I'll see what I can do. And her
Yeah.
husband's apparently like a genius engineer too, and they get to work and they start trying a
Try
lot of
fail
stuff.
cycles. A whole bunch of
Yes,
try fail
second
cycles
round,
again.
even more because Bram is in the hospital, so Bram is in the infirmary at the canyon where they live, and so she's trying like tinfoil hats on him, and he's like, what is this? What is happening here? Like, we're making an external shield for your brain. He's like, okay, whatever. Dahlia's like, try it, because he's like, I'm not putting that on my head. And yeah, everything fails. They try every kind of material, every metal. They bring in at some point they bring in a Shia at this point too, because a
Yeah,
Shia.
but it was interesting because Ashai is working on this. Your favorite is working on this in Russia.
Caleb Krychek, yeah, he's got a
Caleb
team
is
of
working
people
on it.
for the humans because he promised the humans he would help them protect themselves from the Psy. So everybody wants this shield for people, but they've been doing internal
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they're like, you know what? At first they're like, let's not bring them in. We're thinking of literally outside the box about this. And
Mm-hmm.
if we start from where they have failed, we're going to be on that trajectory. Let's start on this trajectory.
Right.
And it eventually, after a lot of failing, it works. And it works.
But no, you skipped the best part where they have to go in the
When
cave
they
with
go
the
into the
bat.
cave, that's where I was going. I was trying to remember what it was called. They take them to the cave.
And this is the cave where this is where they had sex,
It
right?
was so
Where she was like, it
quiet.
was so
Yes.
quiet. Because
Mhm.
Adam was like, wait a minute, she said it was quiet. He has this like brainstorm of an idea.
Mhm.
He's like, let me see if this works. It's a last ditch effort before we let her die. She's
Because they
dying
thought that
anyway.
it was material from in there.
Well, they didn't know what it was. They had no idea what was in the cave. They take Bram and Larry to the cave. They wake up, both of them, and it's quiet. And with no shields, they're fine. But there's like they
Mhm.
can't live in the cave forever. They
Right.
eventually bring the two younger siblings who've had like psychotic breaks also. And so in this cave with these
Mhm.
bats, it's like, so
And the
what?
minerals.
Yeah, they don't know what's up with the cave. So they try every mineral. They're trying all these things. They're making more hats, making more like things, and eventually, because it's full of bats, they're like, okay, if they have to stay here for a few more weeks, let's get rid of the bats. We'll move the bats to another location
In a humane way.
in a humane way. So little Amelia is a little bird flying, chasing the bats away, the way like dogs do with sheep. And when the bats are gone, that's when we get the solution. Because
Because as soon as the bats leave, the noise starts to come
mhm.
back because they couldn't get all the bats out at once. So the noise starts as the bats start to leave.
And Sarsha and Ashaya look at each other and say, ultrasound.
But I'm confused
Okay.
because I remember them saying that this cave, that it was, you couldn't teleport into it. You
You
had
can't
to walk
teleport
into
into the canyon at
the
all.
canyon at all,
Right.
which means the telepathy doesn't work. Do I
That's why they
have the
have to go
science right?
outside of the cave to put the hat on to test. Remember?
Okay, I misunderstood that because I'm sitting here thinking, don't they need the telepathy in order to connect to the Psynet, which they need because they need that biofeedback?
Yeah, I don't think that was well, first of all, this cave isn't actually in the canyon, it's someplace nearby. So I
Mhm.
wasn't sure if the telepathy thing worked or not in that cave, because it's a slightly separate location from what I gathered. But yeah, they're all still alive. So the Psynet, it's not blocking. Like, remember they specifically mentioned that even though teleportation doesn't work in the canyon, all the Psy are still alive. So they're in the Psynet still because Sasha's in there,
Yeah.
Franz. So that teleportation thing was specific to that. It wasn't
Okay.
didn't block their Psynet access. So I don't think this cave blocks the Psynet access
Okay.
either. And they have to go out to the mouth of it so that they can hear the voices to tell whether these devices are working. So it ends up being like some kind of headband that they make when they realize it's the ultrasound at a certain frequency combined with the minerals of the cave,
Mhm.
and they can put it in this headband, and it's an external shield.
And it works.
And
And
we've finally tried and won and not failed.
except Bram doesn't want to wear a headband. He insists that they put something just under the skin so that he can still look cool.
Right. Yeah. And Dolly's like, you are an idiot. Why would you do that? And they make a point of saying, this is not a great solution because it's, someone could rip it off. It's very insecure. but it's the first success they've had. And yeah, we see Bowen and the
Yeah,
humans
because they give it
freely.
to the humans, and the humans are like, "What? Wait, what does it cost? For real, what does it
Right?
cost?"
Right? Yeah.
And they're like, "No, if you find an upgrade, just let us know because these headbands aren't the cutest things in the world. So
Mhm.
that's the cost.
I
Sure,
was
you got
afraid they were all gonna have to, like, but in the next book, Alari's gonna be walking around with a helmet or something like, "Oh, I need to get this helmet because it's my external shield." But at least it's, like, a low profile, like, it's a glittery headband, like, somebody I think, her other sister Saffron was, like, a glittery headband version or something.
Uh, yes. So the bats and the Psy and the birds all live happily ever after.
Kind of. I mean, the Signet is still hanging on by a thread, we still got
It
the
is.
chewing gum and spider webs, a lot of people are still gonna die.
Yeah.
This book ends in a very unique way. The very last chapter is in an Aunt Rita column, which I thought was great. It referenced because again we have the epigraphs before every chapter with various
Mhm,
things, and
mhm,
one of them was an Aunt Rita column from Wild Woman magazine, which we
mhm.
have been with many books now.
Yeah, apparently it also I think this is the first time it said what the it used to be called something else. It used to be called something wild something, not wild
Yeah,
women.
right. Yeah. Hey, lore. Um, and so we had an advice column, a
Mhm,
person writing into the advice column, and then we have
mhm.
an update at the very last, the epilogue essentially is an update to that story. These characters that we don't know, but it's very sweet.
It is very sweet because in the initial column, a bird shifter was dropping meat
To this woman
to
that
her
she
human
liked.
friend, and she was
Yeah.
like, "What is happening?"
It was like a whole, like, a cooked rack of lamb or something, just meat being dropped from the sky. And Don Reed was like, "Yeah, you're being courted. If you don't want it, here's what you do. If you do want it, here's what you do." And so the epilogue was like, they're getting married, and you're
Yeah,
invited, Aunt Rita. Thanks
yeah.
for the advice."
I think this works because we love this world, and we've been with the bears, and we know if a bear brings you food, you know what that means.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fan service.
Mhm. Without being
Mm.
annoying, because sometimes fan service doesn't do anything.
Mhm.
It's like it's just there for fan service, and you're like, "Okay, yeah." But this, it was still integrated well, and I think it was very well done fan service.
Yeah, yeah. She knows this world, these characters, and her fans so well that that's why she gets away with it. Like I was telling Leslie before we got on, like this isn't like my favorite book. This isn't my favorite entry, but it's solid because it brought me back into this world that I love, that I'm
Mhm.
so comfortable with. It's a warm hug, and I will just keep. And
Yeah.
I think that is a great thing to know that, or to have the skill that your readers who have been with you for what 20 years
Mhm.
will just keep coming back to this world. Although please go in the sea the next time. That's all I'm saying.
We want, yes, we want the sea, we want Black Sea. I don't think there's any other series that has gotten to book 24 that I've stayed with.
Damn.
Even some of my auto buy authors for the past few years, like, I feel like I try to read the books now and I'm disappointed over and over again. And so, yeah, this is probably not my top 10, but I really enjoyed this. I was really turning the pages. I really wanted to get back to it. And it's like a warm hug. It's like that comfortable thing that's still good. It's still, you can rely on it. I'm
Yep,
going to have a good experience when I'm
yep,
reading a Psy-Changeling book. And
yep.
that is all you can really ask for at this point.
Speaking of expectations, so Nalini's not going to be back for a year,
Or
but
more. Who
we
knows?
or more because she's writing in still two series. She's still doing the Angel series.
And then the thrillers too. Like, I don't,
Yeah, she
she's
still
got a
does her
lot of stuff
thrillers.
going on.
Yeah. So we're not trying to take another year to come back and join you guys, but we have some things, some buffers in there that we need to clear out of the way first.
Yeah, so we will be back, and stay subscribed. Don't cancel your subscription because we're coming back.
We'll let you know what we're doing because this is such a unique series. Like we
Mhm.
initially started this because we wanted to talk about these specific books because we both love paranormal and fantasy, and we're both diverse people. So you just don't have something else like this out there. If you have found it, please drop us some comments and let us know. But this was just such a unique opportunity. But we don't want to stop the conversation. But we are still pausing it, and we're going to come back with a plan. But in the meantime, has there been any everyday magic that has happened in your life, Miss Leslye?
In fact, there
Oh
has.
God, here we go.
So, yeah, I often get the comment that I look a lot younger than I am. Some people think as much as 20 years younger. Not
Atta
to brag,
girl.
genetics. I no control. Clean living, yes, but one of the problems with looking younger than you are is that sometimes you just don't have the amount of gravitas, in your presence that you would hope for. So what I decided to do was to buy a caftan.
Oh Lord.
So I told Inez when I got on the call, I was
Sewed.
like, I have this caftan. It's changing my life. I'm buying 10 more. It is amazing. It is soft. It is comfortable. I'm in my old lady era. I want to like wear nothing but caftans around the house. Maybe I'll leave the house in them. I don't
Oh
know.
my God.
I'm just so enamored of them. They've
She is
made my life.
Mrs. Roper.
I am Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. Yes. Yes. So I have found a delightful Etsy vendor, very soft, very comfortable. And I feel like I should have like a cigarette holder and a glass of
Oh
vermouth.
my God.
I don't smoke or drink, but I just feel like I finally have that gravitas that my face doesn't give me.
Yes. Yeah, y'all have to come look. I cannot be the only person who has this information in my head.
All right, I put a picture on Instagram
Yes.
to link to so that you can enjoy my caftan.
Oh my goodness.
Inez, do you have any everyday magic you'd like to share?
I feel old too because I practice profit first. It's an accounting method where you take your income and you pay into your profit first. And then you pay all the other accounts. You pay your operating expenses, your taxes, you pay your salary, but you pay your profit first. And I get to do whatever I want with my profit. And I usually will like book a massage or take these trips. This month I'm in a condo now. I got my condo deep cleaned and I don't want to go anywhere. I have plans tonight and I'm gonna go to my plans because I promised to go to my plans and I want to go to my plans, but oh my gosh, sitting in a clean house is just the most amazing thing. They clean like when you're in the bathroom and the mirror and then sometimes like the soap scum gets
Mhm.
against the little what is it, the grout or whatever.
Oh,
They
oh,
clean that.
that's a deep clean.
They clean my oven. They clean my fridge. Now my fridge looks like it has no food in it, but that's fine. I don't care. It's clean. Everything is clean. Like my children, this is a way station.
For your adult children.
It's a way station for my adult children. Yes. And they just keep tag teaming my office. They're like, oh, you're leaving? Okay, now I'm going to come. I swear they have these conversations. But they're both gone. They're both in their own spaces right now, knock on wood. And it's just quiet and it's clean. And when I put something down, it stays there. It doesn't disappear. My cabinets are not all open because that's what my son does. My ice cream is still in the fridge because my daughter will take a scoop of ice cream and then another scoop. And the next thing you know, there's one scoop left for me. None of that is happening. It's clean. It's the way I like it. And I'm just going to enjoy it and be happy.
Having an empty nest is magical.
Clean.
Clean empty nest.
Now, if I just got a caftan, I think probably this would be
Yeah, expect Christmas gifts maybe in July. Who knows?
We are ridiculous, but we are glad that you guys come and hang with our ridiculousness, and we promise we'll be back once we figure out life. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. Please let us know what you think. You can leave a comment on YouTube with your thoughts on the episode. Please do share it with friends who love romance, and please don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify.
And check out our website, inkandmagic.net. When we return, we always post our schedule there so you can read along. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.